the other guys who are not here. So,
Said he was coming.
Sean, yeah, he may still get here. I also sent an invite to Matt.
Sure.
Matt is actually, he works at KTIS. He's the manager of their AM side, so
Okay.
he's a sound guy.
Great.
So,
Perfect.
Yeah, he typically shows us.
hi, Sean. I just walked in myself.
All right.
Are you recording? Okay.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm Jeff.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Cool. All right, well, I'll get started. I'll do a brief overview of what we've brought down here, what the goals are, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of sort of specs and how to operate it, etc. So the issue was there was no monitor system down here. The only way people could hear themselves was either from behind the speakers, sort of trying to hear themselves in the house, or plugging into just all these amplifiers on stage. And it's just not helpful to anybody in the band to try to do that. So this monitor system is designed to give the people on stage the things they need to hear so they can be successful on stage. It is a 2-mix system, so we have monitor mix 1 and monitor mix 2. We have 4 speakers, but they're paired. So you can do 2 on monitor mix 1 and 2 on monitor mix 3. You don't ever want to do like 1 speaker and then 3, like on 2 separate things. It'll just overload the amplifier because it's asking it to work too hard, basically. So you always just, I mean, you can certainly do 1 and 1, but ideally, you know, 2 for each channel. And
Is it safe to do 2 in 1, or I mean,
yes, it's only
okay,
when you
just
get 3.
never
You don't
3 in
wanna
1.
do 3.
Okay.
Yeah. So, however you need to set it up, you can absolutely do that. My basic thought was, well, you could put 2 up front for maybe the vocalists. You know, that could be mix 1, and then 2 sort of set back, maybe 1 here for the piano and drums, and then 1 here for whoever else, and that could be mix 2. But feel free to do whatever you need as long as you remember like where you put, you know, the speakers. Yeah. All the cabling, basically they're just jumpered together out of the Mac. So there's a 25-footer that goes to the back of the amp, and it's you just sort of line up the wider and thinner, and then give it a twist, and it'll lock in place. And then to undo it, you just pull the sleeve, the gray sleeve back, and then twist it. So it's a sort of,
Twist and lock.
yeah, and then pull back. And then you just basically plug in both, and then this goes to the next speaker.
Okay, so would that be called in series? Off each other, kind of?
It looks series, but it's technically the wiring is parallel. But yes,
Okay.
essentially it's just a daisy chain.
A
You're
daisy chain.
serialing
Okay.
The speakers. The system itself, I dialed it in the other day as far as like EQ settings, limiting, and stuff like that. So it's very stable right now. You can, in fact, check 1, 2. It's pretty loud right now, and there's no even hint of feedback or ringing. So it's a pretty stable system. The amplifier has some processing inside of it, so I dialed that all in. There is an external graphic EQ which gives a lot of fine control. Like if there's a particular frequency that just sounds like, oh, it's going to feedback, I took that out. So I'm actually just going to put this cover on it. It doesn't need to be adjusted. It's fine. If for some reason after the first weekend you discover like, yeah, maybe there are a few things that could be adjusted up, just let me know and I'll come back and sort of retweak it. But I'll just sort of give a brief overview of the rack.
Can I just repeat back to you?
Yeah.
So the slider settings there, is that the programming that you did, or is?
No, that's a separate piece.
Okay.
I hooked a computer up to the amp.
Okay.
So there's
Got it.
internal and then external processing.
And that's like saved kind of in the firmware of the thing, so that turning it off is not going to clear any.
Precisely.
Okay.
Yep. And in fact, this amp, the front panel, is locked out, so you can't change anything.
Good, good.
And once this is on, then you won't be able to change any of these settings.
Okay.
And that button next to the blue light is the power for
Right.
the amp.
That's pretty much
Is
the
it-
only button you'll need to touch to power on. There is the power strip, but I just leave that on and then just turn this on and off because the amp has a built-in power up and power down sequence so that it first mutes everything so that you don't get a pop and then it shuts down power. So this will be the only button you'll need to use. So I guess first thing you would do when you come in, this has a door. The back, it has one of these on the back as well, but you can leave that off because you can't get to anything from there. So per Holly's suggestion, she said, hey, you should probably get a lock on there. So I went to Home Depot and just got a little padlock. And you can probably, if you had any sort of tool, break it, but it's more a deterrent. And I'll have one key in my office and I'll just put it by the soundboard or something, maybe just underneath the soundboard.
When we need to turn it on, it's not, we shouldn't leave it on. We should turn
Correct.
it on only when it's
Yeah,
needed.
like,
I'm just wondering, is there a way to just turn it on externally so that we don't have to even open it? But it also
Well-
needs ventilation. We need to get to the microphones.
yeah, I mean, I guess in theory you could just unplug it from the wall, but I always like to use the power button because it
Yeah.
allows the amp to do its power up and power down job.
Yeah.
But
I'll just open it in the morning, turn it on, and then when we're done, we'll just lock it
We'll
up.
turn it off.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So what we have here, we got you an array of new microphones. So you have 5 vocal mics to I mean, the gray one is actually a better mic than the blue one. So you could probably keep that in rotation. Or I mean, it's your choice what to use, but you have 5 additional vocal mics to use. And then say you have an electric guitarist or something and they have a guitar amp, then you could use this one and put it on a mic stand or drape it over the cabinet and hang it by its cord in a pinch if you don't have a stand handy. So you have 5 vocal mics and 2 just instrument mics. You can put that on, say, an acoustic guitar player doesn't have a pickup on it. You could put that on a mic stand and put it in front of the guitar and you'll be fine. So new mics for you, new cabling, new mic cabling. There's 4 15-footers and 4 20-footers or 25-footers. A couple of direct boxes. This is how you would say you have a bass player. Just that instead of plugging into an amp, which just has a lot of stage volume, just have them plug right into here.
Okay.
Take just a mic cable and go out of here into the snake, and whatever channel you plug them in, that will show up on the same channel on the board.
And does this go both to the monitors and the board, or just to the board back there?
Well, this section is all inputs, and
Okay.
that goes to the board.
Okay.
This section is all outputs, comes from the board to the amp. And then the board actually then sends down that wall the signal to the speakers. So the outputs that you see here are just for these monitors.
Okay.
These would also be used to hook up the keyboard. I saw some cabling earlier that you could use.
This is the one you made.
Yes. How do you like that?
I like it.
I just ordered a 25-footer mini to mini that should be here. I don't know about this week, but next week for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, you had the right idea. You basically needed to go RCA out to 1/4 inch in.
Have you ever seen someone use a Cat 5 for audio?
I've seen a lot of stuff. And,
Well, it's shielded, right? Or,
yeah,
Plus, there's not much to those things.
yeah. I mean, copper is copper.
yeah.
It's just what else you're allowing in the copper, right? And, via interference and radio waves and stuff. So, yep.
Okay, so that goes into, oh yeah, all right. So
Yep. Input, and then the output is just a standard mic cable.
Okay, because I tried that on one of these that we had here and it just didn't work.
Really?
And then I had to just link to that, that's why I made a long one.
Well, we should try it out.
This one you tried, right?
I think it was,
You know, is the piano, I know we did recently have a problem with the power source on the piano somehow.
Yeah, I put it back together and taped it up.
and I could see the audio toning light over on the board, but it just would not produce sound.
So let's just try this one. That should be showing up on channel 5. Yeah, I don't know. That's a function of the piano. I don't know if you can turn off.
Try again.
How's the piano?
What's that?
Oh, this is a new one too, isn't it? Or is this the same one? This is a new one, isn't it?
No, I don't think so. This is the same piano we've had, I think.
Oh, okay.
This is monitor 1.
So we have a new power supply,
Yep, so
I
you
think.
can
But
turn 'em up. Yeah, I can totally hear it. So good cabling. Yeah, Mission County.
The only thing is that just, and I could probably just do this, but
so was that coming out of the main?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the monitor.
Okay.
Well, if
I
you
can
have,
I can only hear this, not that, but that's where I'm standing.
Hear it from there?
Yeah, that. Yes, I didn't know if you could hear it from there.
output of your computer and somehow adapted it down to a quarter inch, you could do it.
that's what that.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
But it was this. I wonder if. Anyway.
And sometimes when you use these, you'll hear a buzz, like a very noticeable buzz, and that's probably a ground loop. So there's a ground lift switch on here, so you can just toggle that better or worse, better or worse. So you have 2 of these to use. In these bags are just the mic clips that came. Actually, you can replace.
Oh,
So you have 7 mic clips now. This extra drawer, say you want to save some stage real estate and you just want to pack things up. Here's an extra drawer for cabling. I labeled it speaker cable, but whatever your needs are, you know better than I do what you need. So feel free to store stuff in there.
I was hoping to even maybe hide some of those and find a place to hide some of those mic stands so they're not just sitting there all the time. It looks-
Yeah, we
We can
can,
just move them. You know.
Well, maybe even back. I don't know if they're gonna want anything back because they're used that area, but I'll see. Anyway, so what else we've got there or what?
I think I've covered pretty much everything there is to know about the basics. Let's head back to the board and talk operators and see. Yeah, that's exactly. So the easy part is that everything is 1-to-1. When you plug something into Snake Channel 1, it shows up on Board Channel 1. When you want to send something to Monitor Mix 1, you dial up aux 1. This row is aux1. So anything that you want to send to the monitor, say the vocalist is like, oh, I need a little bit more of myself in monitor 1, you would come vertical and then find aux1 and then just bump it up a little bit. Say you have an acoustic player and they're like, oh, I can't hear myself at all. And you know that they're standing behind monitor mix 2. You would come vertical and go to aux2, which is this row, and then you would just dial that up a bit until they can hear themselves. It's, I guess, good practice to sort of slow and steady rather than like, okay, here you go, because that just might, boom, just be way too loud, way too fast. So, you know, just a good,
Back to
gentle...
the future.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So that's pretty much all you have to do for operation. For example, that microphone that I just checked in, and this, I should say, this is independent of the house mix. So these could be off, and you could still dial in monitors. And there is sort of a center detent that you feel when you turn it. And also, this is the master, like this is the overall volume over here, but you don't need to mess with that.
Master for auxiliary or?
Yes,
for,
like
okay.
In addition to each channel being sent to it, that's sort of like the master volume
Yep.
of that aux send.
So when we have the 4 monitors up there, 2 on one, 2 on the other,
Yep.
do they operate in, do 1 and 2 operate independently on these, or are they together? Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
So there's
Okay.
two mics, two amps only.
So we
Yes.
can literally turn up any one of the 4.
No, it'd be in
need
pairs
2 of the
still.
4.
Okay,
Yes,
so it's
yeah.
1 and 2 are together, and 3 and 4 are together.
Yes. If you think of just, I have 2 monitor mixes available,
Okay.
then you can see 2 speakers will share that mix.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. So you just
Okay.
think in pairs.
Okay.
So if we were to head back